Capricorns, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for October 3rd through the 9th, 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the real location of the constellations in the sky, called Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. All right, so Capricorn, this week we have a lot going on, astrologically speaking. The most important events, especially for you Capricorns, involving your ruler Saturn. Saturn is going to be squaring up to the North Node here this week. Two very slow-moving planets makes this a very collectively significant aspect. So let's go and look at this. Saturn's been in your 11th house. It's been important this year and really for the next couple of years for you to develop your aspirations in life, to take them seriously. Basically anything in the future, your hopes, your wishes, the things you want to cultivate for you. But also, not only you, for your community. This is also the house of everything larger than self, such as networking, connecting to your community, groups, friends, all these things that are an expression of connecting to something larger than who we are. So these are two great areas for you to continue to take seriously, both your personal aspirations and your aspirations for the community. And I think as a result, you'll find that over these coming years, there is a lot being built here. Now, this week is a great week to do that because Saturn is going to be activated. And in the square, the North Node has been pulling you towards the deeper side to life. So this whole year and for the next year, roughly, the life path is pushing you towards getting deeper. And what I mean by that is getting deeper with life in and of itself, getting open, intimate with life, really asking yourself what matters to you most in life. And with yourself, with transformation, healing, understanding more about yourself psychologically, where you might have some old patterns that you can break free from. And maybe some bonds, some external things that might be unhealthy, such as debts, things like that. And maybe situations that are keeping you bound up, whether it's internally or externally. So the eighth house is all about liberation. It's all about transformation and freeing ourselves up from where there might be some inhibition, some blockages, and those types of things. Also in relationships too, it's an excellent time to be getting deep with them as well. Intimacy, openness, vulnerability. These are great areas to focus on. So it's a great week for that. I think it's a great time to challenge yourself with that because that's what the square is all about. But that's when good things are built, right? Is through the actual work, setting the actual foundation. And maybe uncomfortable, may not be totally easy, but this is certainly a good week to challenge yourselves to do that. And like I said, as we find good things coming in the long term that have to do with both those aspirations and those deeper things in life. All right, so we have other things going on this week. Venus is going to be sextiling up to the North Node at the beginning, suggesting maybe a bit of harmony with that life path stuff, actually. Venus is actually shifting into dignity in Libra, which is very nice. She's going to be in a nice placement. She's coming out of debilitation in Virgo. So this is a nice shift, I think, towards your career or public life. Maybe there's a bit of enjoyment to be had with your work, your productive life. Maybe some relationships being developed in your career, etc. So good to enjoy that. I think there's some good positive energy with that. And I think you'll likely notice a lift too, where the career stuff is maybe flowing a bit more this week, whereas before the past few weeks, the ruler of your 10th Venus wasn't in the best placement there in Virgo. You could even find too that there's an easier sense of self-expression for you as well. Now, along with that, Mercury is going to be shifting into your 9th. In fact, there's a lot of 9th house energy. This is the area that has to do with possibilities and potentials and expanding your horizons and travel and adventure and philosophy and astrology, all these things that expand your worldview. So great to think about this week. Maybe work on some details with some of these things, learning philosophy, sharing it, thinking about it, reading a book about it. Higher learning can be good. Jupiter's here helping you see potentials with all this more adventurous stuff in life. And you just had a new moon here last week. So it's certainly the week, this week, to be cultivating these greater things in life, anything that expands your horizons. So great positive energy with that. The sun's sailing up to your ruler Saturn here at the beginning of the week from the 9th house, suggesting maybe there is some good flowing energy there. At least there's some sort of gateway or opening, which is the sextile. Now, another very important aspect this week will be that Mars is going to be squaring up to Jupiter. This is going to go exact on Wednesday. and this is involving a bit of a different area for you. This has been Mars, who's recently gone into your 12th house, helping you understand more about how to get things done with receptivity, with acceptance, with going with the flow. And as a result, there can be this more tranquil nature, this more easygoing nature to you when you're getting things done. Because the fact of the matter is, Mars is the side of ourselves that is about taking action, but the 12th house is about non-action, right? So it's actually getting things done perhaps through non-action, or having a bit more meditative approach to what you're involved with, what you're doing, more awareness, more consciousness, and maybe too getting a bit of that R&R, which can help you find the flow as well. In fact, a lot of this has been shifting for you. Pluto has recently gone direct this last week with things relating to behind the scenes, relaxation, whatever it is, can be good for you to implement continuing this week. Now, back to this square. So Mars squaring up to Jupiter. There is a bit of exuberance sometimes with this. Jupiter expands things, and in the square, it can expand it a bit too much or not enough. So there can be some overconfidence this middle part of the week, collectively speaking, some overexuberance. So when it does come to the alone time, when it does come to expanding these horizons and getting things done, I think keeping a cool head will be important. Again, having awareness of the self, having awareness of the ego, just to make sure that everything stays nice and balanced, that we're not getting ahead of ourselves, we're not over or under confident, etc. All right, but with this square, there can be a lot done actually, because again, squares are about action, and this can be perhaps a bit of inspiration to take some action, both for that 9th house of expansion and 12th house of receptivity. And Venus will be sextiling Pluto on a minor note around that same time. So yeah, maybe some changes happening with the career, maybe again, some more positive energy with that. And then as we go into the weekend, the sun is going to be squaring up to Pluto. So this will be collectively important here in the sense that all of us, so to speak, will have this sort of, tension or wanting to break free or wanting to control things or have things a certain way. These are usually the extreme manifestations of Pluto. When he's in a square like this, with especially the sun, it can bring out the imbalanced side of Pluto, which is wanting things to be a certain way or wanting to possess things or own things. So with that in mind, I think it's a great weekend to see where you can detach a bit. Again, especially with that Mars squaring up to Jupiter, detach a bit, see where things can flow. Again, there are positive things with your expansion, with your possibilities, with your alone time and your relaxation, but we want to make sure everything is nice and balanced with this, and stripping away any old belief systems, any old patterns, again, I feel like is always a great way of working with Pluto. And if you are willing to do that, as the square with Mars shows, that this can also be very constructive. And this can be constructive in the sense that you're stripping away, again, all of these fears, these anxieties, these things that are making us feel like controlling things, right? Because when we want to control things, we want to own things or possess them, it's usually because there's a fear associated with that. So anyways, it's a good weekend to be aware of that, to make the transformation and change within self, and as a result, you could see that positively in impacting your 9th house of expansion, 12th house of behind the scenes activities. All right, but the strongest aspect this week is certainly the fact that Saturn is going to be squaring up to the North Node. So this is very important for you as your ruler. This challenge to move towards the life path of openness, intimacy, transformation, and depth in your life, all while still building those aspirations, because that's really the foundation to all of this. It's the pivot point to this T-square, and it is, of course, your ruler there in the 11th. All right, so Capricorn, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.